I'm TalliWoe, and I'm also comfortable right now. Today we're back with episode 2 of the 11 most interesting videos and facts that I have heard this week. Let's get it.
They have been desensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient druids back in the day used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, television. And when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
So I happen to believe this simply because you can pick apart patterns of everything that TV has manipulated you into doing, saying, and reenacting without even thinking about it. You know, we all have our favorite things that we've seen on TV, and we just go and we repeat these lines over and over and over simply because they get stuck in our heads. Let me know what you think.
So everybody heard about the story of the petrified giants inside of the Bible, right? I think I just might have came across something that y'all might find very interesting. So all over the world, people have been finding these strange, mysterious crystals that resemble and look like tissue and muscle. See, as you can see right here, this is the crystal. This is like a steak or something. Another one, This is another one looking like layers of fat, muscle, and tissue. Once again, another one. Y'all can't tell me this doesn't look like muscle and tissue. They even made furniture out of it. And see, now what we was just looking at was a crystal that was called rhodonite, which is a manganese silicate. And see, now the craziest part is you can find manganese inside of the body. Yes, stored inside of bones and small amounts inside the liver, brain, kidneys, and pancreas. And it also helps the body maintain stable tissue. Don't you guys just find that very interesting? Now I guess it is more to the mystery about the Nephilim and the giants that we know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the giants and these strange flesh-like crystals found all over the world in the comments. Like or follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. Yeah, make sure y'all share this to somebody that does not know.
Okay, so that one is what I would consider kind of a reach. But I'm not going to say that I don't believe it because my main bottom line that I always push across whenever I'm having any type of debate is I do not know everything. People try to say use your common sense or use your head. Well, your common sense and your head are also driven by things that you've learned from books that change over and over and over, like I always say. So I'm going to take everything that I'm interested in with a grain of salt. But those pictures aren't AI. If they're 100% real pictures, then we do have to start questioning how these processes happened why they look so close to things that we see with the anatomical structure of the human body. And we have to just start trying to put two and two together ourselves when we have things that we'll never get the real answer from the people who are supposed to be teaching us.
I'm Bill Cosby, and you take care of yourself.
He does this routine, which now seems like it might have been a red flag.
She put some in her drink, man. I see 5 girls standing alone. Boy, if I had a whole jug of Spanish fly, I'd light that corner up over there.
Bill Cosby was still telling Spanish fly jokes more than 20 years later. This is from 1991.
Spanish fly.
We do what it was.
Spanish fly was the thing that all boys from age 11 on up to death, we will still be searching for Spanish fly.
That's right.
And what was the old story was, if you took a little drop, no, it was on the head of a pin.
Why does he know the dosage?
On the head of a pin.
Oh, the famous Larry King live clip. A lot of you have seen it. But did you know that he was there promoting his book, Childhood? And Childhood has an entire chapter about Spanish fly? And Spanish fly is mentioned in the book 15 times.
And
Drop
you put
it
it
in
in
the
the drink.
Coca-Cola. Don't matter.
It doesn't make it, and the girl would drink it, and
Sure.
hello, America. And
He's on Larry King Live, talking about the Spanish fly. You just got to put it just as a pin, just the head of a pin, and oh boy, God bless America. Whoa.
There was this narrative that had always been there in the undercurrent of his comedy about women.
From almost day one was telling us that he was willing to and didn't think anything was strange about putting things in women's drinks to get them to do what he wanted them to do. So when we fast forward, it's not a huge leap to think that what Cosby was talking about in the 60s, he was doing.
I'm going to be real tiptoey about how I say this because lawsuits happen. But if you ask me my personal opinion, sometimes people tell on themselves.
You're not supposed to know this, but there are 3 secrets of dark psychology so effective they can unlock your deepest desires almost instantly. The last one might change your entire perspective. 1. If you want to command attention, speak less. This technique triggers a psychological phenomenon known as the information gap theory. By speaking sparingly, you compel others to fill in the blanks. This not only grants you control over the narrative, but makes your words the most valuable. 2. If you want to impress someone, never talk about your hard work. Suppose you've been working on a tough project for months. Instead of complaining about how difficult it is, present it as if it were easy for you. This approach projects an image of natural skill and genius, leaving others thinking you are the smartest in the room. 3. This one is so powerful that I urge you not to tell anyone and...
So they didn't tell anyone. That's funny. When it comes to dark psychology, I take that stuff at face value. Like, it's not really something that's anything that I want to indulge in because it's just manipulation. And when you waste time trying to manipulate people, first of all, you spend more time in a world that is lacking truth, because how you're going about getting the things that you want out of people, it's not in an honest way. So if you learn facts like these and you decide to use them out in the real world and stuff, please don't think that the resources that you gained these informations from are engaging and interacting with the world with those same lessons. If you want real, be real. If you want something that's not real, be fake.
Earth is not what we've been told, and our past is not what we've been told, and we are more than we've been led to believe. And I think all that's being revealed right now. And I think some of the most revealing evidence is not even on Earth, it's on the moon. And the moon itself. There's a growing body of evidence to suggest that the moon is an artificial body, that it was engineered. I just did a video on this recently, an interview. And, I mean, it's fascinating. One of the things, it's so deep, I'm not even sure where to begin here. One of the first things that scientists noticed is, and we all know, the moon is covered in meteorites. Big ones, small ones, overlapping ones, but they will not go below a certain depth. They're hitting something that doesn't allow them to go below a certain depth.
Some of y'all don't know about all the theories surrounding the moon. A couple that I'm very intrigued in are, one, the soul catcher that's on the moon, which you can find real pictures of a very, very tall structure that was located on the moon by satellite. And the soul catcher is supposed to be where your soul goes to be reincarnated. Now, they say that that is a built structure by extraterrestrial forces used to basically send humans through a loop of reincarnation, because the negative energy that we produce through the lives that we live feed a different type of entity that we can't see. Some people have been passing around the term interdimensional beings because they occupy the same space that we do, but since they're on a different frequency inside of a different dimension, we can't experience them unless they, use their technology to transfer or send themselves to our dimension for whatever, purpose that they do that for. These are all really, really wild and reaching theories, but it's stuff that connects the dots of questions that we have that we can't get answers to from the people that are supposed to be leading us. So we're forced to sit here and speculate. And until we get real answers, hey, I say believe what you want. Just make sure it doesn't negatively impact the people around you.
Well, damn. Way down. And it was so slow that you could almost see the air moving. Then you saw the driver take a gun and go like this and shoot Kennedy, and the bullet comes out of the gun this slow, very, very, very slow, and it hits Kennedy in the head, and you see
Wow. So I don't know if I hope that that story is true or false. What I will say is this gives you a very, very good example of what they like to call 4D chess. Now, 4D chess is basically you admitting to something that you know people would never believe, even though it's the truth. But you're being honest because you know that they won't believe it. So you've given them the honest truth, but it's up to them to accept it as honest or not. And so, since you know that they won't, that's the only reason that you do it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I looked directly into the camera right now and I said something like, I'm a werewolf, well, you have two options. You can, one, think about if you want to believe in something as mythological as a werewolf existing. And if you do, you question more. Or two, you have in your head already decided that something as far-reaching, supernatural, and nonsensical as the transformation of a human body into a werewolf is way beyond our physical limits, and you decide to cut it off right there from the jump, and you don't believe in werewolves. Well, if a person actually was a werewolf, they never kept it from anybody. You see what I'm saying? They told you, you just didn't believe it because you don't believe that something that far-fetched could ever be true. 40 chess.
As fellow Disney stars, are you all in a secret Illuminati-like club?
No.
Is it because you can't tell me if you are?
No.
Is that true, Sam?
Inconclusive.
Can you imagine?
So, you're looking at someone who is a very, very well taught person when it comes to behavior detection. I've used it in 2 previous careers. So, I'm just going to tell you what I saw. From body language, what I'm seeing is someone that is keeping a promise that they made to keep a secret, and fear of ever being discovered to have let that secret out. That's what gives you the type of eyes that you see in this video, because that is a very scary question to ask someone who is not supposed to be telling anyone anything about something as elusive and discreet as the group known as the Illuminati. If you know who they are, you know she can't tell nobody that. Now, what I will say is I don't know if she is or not. I can't tell if she's lying or not because I can't tell if she's acting. But if she's not acting, then in my personal opinion, she's clearly lying, and she's very, very, very afraid to tell the truth. So that's just from my personal perspective. I'm not always right. I don't know everything.
Wait, we have actual footage of him changing? Oh, this is him. Whoa. Whoa, chat. Is he anamorphing before our eyes? Or is it just a weird angle with bad lighting? You be the judge. Look.
Disregard all the distortions and image artifacts caused by post-edition zooming, and pay close attention to how his head features suddenly change.
Whoa. Whoa! Hey, yo!
All right. Now, I've already explained that I do believe in the reptilian theory, and we know that if we study this theory, a big, big aspect that everyone believes in about them, if they believe in this theory, is that they can shapeshift. Well, what I will tell you from years of doing film arts, production, editing, colorizing, color grading, all that stuff, I can tell you that that's not edited. 1. 2, that's not something that's happening because they had to zoom in far or anything like that. You would still see clear features separated, even if they're blurry. So whatever is on the screen right now was there because it didn't think that it was being filmed. 2. And also, everything is wrong as far as the anatomical structure of a human being. If he was developed correctly, his ears are too low. There is no depth to the side of his head. You know, like you have curves and stuff and shapes that happen because of your jaw and your ears and everything like that. It looks like this man has on a Voldemort mask. And so if he is not wearing any type of mask or identity concealing headwear or something like that, we may actually have real footage of a 100% reptilian shapeshifter. But like I said, I don't know everything. I'm just using my own eyes to come up with a judgment. I can still be wrong.
This non-human realm was feeding off low vibrational energy. There's a scene in the first Matrix movie where Morpheus holds up a battery and says, the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to turn humans into one of these, a battery. That is a profound statement in an apparently fictional movie.
Well, we saw the kids version in Monsters Inc. as well.
That was another one. You had the monster world, where the key monster was a green entity with one single massive eye. I mean, that's telling you, isn't it? What happened is that in the monster world, they had no source of energy. And so in the power station, every day, the monster employees would turn up and they stand in line. And then these doors would come, and when they walked through the door, they walked into a child's bedroom. And their job was to terrify the child, so the child screamed. They caught the scream in a tube and went back to the monster world to power the monster world. It was very symbolic of how this works. They are telling you without telling you, if you know what I mean.
So that was actually the godfather of the reptilian theory himself, David Icke, and he was explaining to you how loosh works. And what loosh is the negative energy that you produce from your daily interactions and your daily experiences that entities feed off of. Now, that would explain all of the random chaos, all of the masochists in the world, or sadists, shall I say, not masochists, sadists, but all the people in the world that enjoy suffering, all of the people that have these impulses that always have to be something negative when it's expressed outwards onto another person. It would explain why no matter how hard you try to have a positive experience from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, somehow, some way, an outward force has to come and express the fact that you're not going to get to go to bed having a perfect day. You see what I'm saying? And just like he said in Monsters Inc., what did they do? They went to the human world. They went and scared kids for absolutely no reason other than to produce that energy, and then they went back to their monster world. That's literally the exact theory of why reptilians keep humans reincarnating and going through eons and millenniums of just nothing but suffering. Think about it.
In 2024, the world's elite are not just planning for the future, they're preparing for survival. Elon Musk's rumored high-tech island retreat and Rihanna's undisclosed island haven are just the tip of the iceberg. Whispers abound about Jeff Bezos developing an underground facility designed for enduring global catastrophes. From private islands to fortified bunkers, the rich and powerful are securing their own safety nets. But as billionaires carve out their sanctuaries, it begs the question, what do they know that we don't? As they prepare for the worst, the rest of us are left to ponder the implications of these secretive escape plans. The line between prudence and paranoia blurs in 2024. Are these preparations just wise foresight, or do they hint at something more? Let's uncover the truth behind the elite's plans for surviving potential global calamities.
All right, so this is a three-parted answer for me. Because, one, if I was a billionaire and I had almost all the most money in the world, I am going to build a bunker. And not because I know something's happening, but because anything could happen. And if something went down to where it was on a global scale, I'm going to have me somewhere to go where I don't have to worry about having all of this 24/7 survival awareness and stuff that everybody else is about to be going through. Like, let's say they just decide to randomly enact the purge. Like, I'm not about to purge. Like, there's a couple people I probably know, but I'm not gonna risk that versus making it out alive to the other side of all of this and being able to have the resources to build everything back up, or at least help when everything is said and done. That's one. Two, if you have any kind of bone in your body that pays attention to the changes of the world naturally, with the environment, with the atmosphere, geographically and stuff like that, when it comes to tectonic plates, when it comes to land masses and how they're about to change, when it comes to the ice caps melting and the sea levels rising and stuff like that. If you pay attention to that, then you know it's already starting. One. Two, that being said, when it comes to high IQ individuals, which people argue that billionaires either are or aren't, I think they are, because they got the ability to get something that's very elusive to a lot of us. But since I think they are, I think that they have the ability to see and get access to the information to let them see the future when it comes to things that they know that are changing. But since they're changing on such a slow scale that we can't worry about it because we live paycheck to paycheck, then they get to take advantage of the stuff that they're learning, and they get to start having their contingencies set up earlier than we ever will, because again, they have the money and the resources. So they're not necessarily seeing the future or nothing like that. They're paying attention, and then they have the money to act on that attention that they're paying. So this makes sense to me. Now, if you know something and you know it's coming and you don't warn your community, your society, your world, and you subject them to unfair destruction because you just want to get ahead and you just want to be one of the last people left, last people standing, and you don't give everybody the same uh, ability to at least try to save their own life that you're giving yourself, you're a bad person.
Strange facts about the human body that are crazy. Flick your nipples and watch how they get hard in 7 seconds. Your jaw and teeth could easily bite off your pinky. Your brain just prevents you from doing it. While in labor, a woman's body releases a hormone that makes your memory of it hazy, like it didn't really happen to you. Humans are bioluminescent and glow in the dark, but the light that we emit is 1,000 times weaker than our human eyes are able to pick up. If you're sleeping and someone blows air on your eyes won't react, but if you're awake, they will flutter a bit. That's how I check if someone is really sleeping. Your ears and nose continue to get larger the older you get. Your tongue plays tricks on your brain. Pretend to have a salt shaker in your hand and tilt your head back and shake pretend salt into mouth. You can taste the salt.
I didn't taste no salt, and I feel stupid. Well, that was the video for today. Hopefully you either learned something, connected something, or at least were entertained. We'll be back next week with the third one. Holla back.